This is video 8 in a 15-part series on Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and today we're diving into Chapter 8, Decision. There comes a moment in every person's life when hesitation becomes too costly. You've thought, you've planned, you've hoped, but you haven't decided. And until you decide, nothing changes. Decision, according to Napoleon Hill, is the turning point where desire transforms into action. It's the inner command that says, enough waiting, it's time to move. For those of us over 40, this lesson strikes deeply. We've lived long enough to see what procrastination does. We've felt the sting of opportunities missed because we waited for the perfect time. We've seen how indecision slowly erodes confidence and keeps us stuck in the same financial patterns, year after year. The truth is simple. Prosperity doesn't come to those who wish for it, but to those who decide they will have it. Think about your own life. How many times did you delay making a financial move? Maybe starting that side business, investing in yourself, or cutting off expenses that drain you? How many times did you let fear or the opinions of others keep you from acting? If you're honest, you'll realize that the gap between where you are and where you want to be is often just one bold decision. Hill emphasizes that successful people have the habit of making decisions quickly and changing them slowly, if ever. Unsuccessful people do the opposite. They hesitate, they seek endless advice, they let others decide for them, and when they finally make a choice, they change it at the first sign of difficulty. This is why so many remain trapped in mediocrity. Let's pause here. After 40, life doesn't wait anymore. Time feels different. Every year counts more, and every hesitation costs more. Indecision at 20 might be forgiven by youth, but indecision at 45, 50, or 60 can be devastating. The years ahead are precious, and wasting them in hesitation is a silent form of self-sabotage. Hill points out that those who achieve wealth and power often face resistance from others. Friends, relatives, colleagues, they may criticize, discourage, or even ridicule bold decisions. But great leaders and great achievers never let outside voices dictate their choices. Think about history. The signing of the Declaration of Independence, one of the boldest decisions ever made, was carried out despite danger, opposition, and uncertainty. Imagine if those men had hesitated. The world would be different. Now, bring that home to your life. Your financial independence, your ability to prosper in this stage of life, depends on your willingness to make definite decisions and stand by them. You can't build prosperity on maybe. You can't unlock abundance with, I'll think about it someday. The turning point is always, yes, I will. One of the most destructive habits Hill identifies is procrastination. How many times have you said, I'll start saving next month, or I'll launch that project next year? Each delay feels harmless, but collectively they steal decades. Suddenly, you look back and realize that the best time to have acted was 10 years ago. The second best time, right now. And let me speak directly to those over 40. You have wisdom that your younger self didn't. You know the pain of waiting too long. You know what indecision costs in relationships, in careers, in finances. Use that knowledge as fuel. Decision is not about being reckless. It's about being definite. It's about saying, I will no longer drift. I choose my path. Decision also requires courage. It means you won't always have all the information. You won't always feel ready, and you won't always have the support of others. But prosperity doesn't come to those who wait for perfect certainty. It comes to those who act with faith. Picture this. You want to turn your financial life around. You're tired of debt, tired of relying on others, tired of surviving instead of thriving. You read, you study, you pray, you plan, but nothing shifts. Why? Because you haven't decided. The decision is the spark. It's the moment you burn the bridges to your old way of living and commit fully to the new. Without that moment, plans remain dreams, and dreams remain frustrations. Hill also notes that people who cannot decide are often controlled by those who can. Look around. In your workplace, in your community, in your circle of friends, the ones who decide are the ones who lead. If you don't choose for yourself, others will choose for you, and their choices will rarely serve your best interests. Financial freedom begins with reclaiming the power of decision. This chapter also teaches us something profound. Decision and character are inseparable. Weak decisions come from weak character. Strong, definite decisions come from clarity, courage, and conviction. And these qualities can be developed at any age. You don't need to be 20 to be decisive. In fact, maturity often sharpens decision-making because you've lived through enough mistakes to know what truly matters. Think of decision as the backbone of prosperity. It's not enough to wish for wealth or even to plan for it. You must decide that it will be yours. That decision is what fuels persistence, resilience, and faith. Without decision, every setback feels like the end. With decision, every setback becomes just a detour. Let me share this truth. Indecision is the enemy of prosperity after 40. It keeps you clinging to a job you hate. It keeps you in debt cycles. It keeps you postponing that business idea. It whispers, wait a little longer until the years pass by. But once you decide, truly decide, the energy inside you changes. You walk differently. You speak differently. You attract different opportunities because your mind and spirit are aligned with your choice. Hill also reminds us that decision is closely linked to independence of thought. If you let gossip, criticism, or public opinion shape your choices, you'll remain stuck. The most prosperous people in history were often misunderstood, even opposed, but they stood firm in their decisions. And in time, their choices proved wise. So, ask yourself today, what decision have I been avoiding? Is it leaving a job that drains me? Is it finally creating a financial plan and sticking to it? Is it cutting expenses and redirecting that money into investments? Or is it simply deciding that from this day forward, I will no longer accept mediocrity in my financial life? And here's another angle. Decision doesn't just apply to money. It applies to your health, your relationships, and your sense of purpose. At 40 or 50, you might decide to change your lifestyle, to let go of toxic people, or to embrace a calling that you've ignored for too long. Every area of life is shaped by the quality of your decisions. Imagine a person who decides, once and for all, to become debt-free. They cut unnecessary expenses, they increase their income, they commit to the process. Over the next 5 years, their life changes completely. Compare that to someone who keeps thinking about it, but never decides. 10 years later, the second person is still in debt, while the first is living free. The difference wasn't luck, it was decision. Now think about your legacy. What kind of financial example are you leaving for your children, your family, or your community? The decision you make today doesn't just affect you, it ripples into future generations. When you decide to prosper, you open the door for others to believe they can too. The beauty of decision is that it doesn't require permission. You don't need approval from your boss, your family, or your friends. You don't need perfect conditions. You only need the courage to say, I have decided. For those of us in the second half of life, this is liberating. You've waited long enough. You've gathered enough knowledge. You've seen enough mistakes. Now is the time to decide. And once you do, the world begins to rearrange itself in response. Doors open, people appear, opportunities surface. Not because the universe suddenly changed, but because your clarity allows you to see and seize what was already there. Decision is power. It's the heartbeat of every financial turnaround, every new beginning, every prosperous life. And the older we get, the more urgent it becomes. Don't waste another year drifting. Decide today who you will be, what you will have, and how you will live. Then hold that decision until it becomes reality. This was just the beginning. In the link below, in the first pinned comment, you'll find something to speed up your growth even more. Did you find this content useful? Then, like the video, comment, share it with more people, and subscribe with the notifications on.